Once again, I would like to welcome you all in the uh, policy dialogue session, second policy dialogue session of the day. So, uh, I would like to invite to take the seat, chair of the session, Mr. Balananda Poudel, Honorable Chairperson of the National Natural Resource and Fiscal Commission. Similarly, Honorable Mohammad Lalbabu Raut, Chief Minister of the Province 2, as a speaker, and Mohandas Manandhar, Executive Director of Niti Foundation, as the panelist. Kindly allow me to present a brief introduction of the delegates at the dais. Uh, for preparing basic frameworks and policy of revenue sharing among federal, provincial, and local governments. He also served as the chairperson of the Local Level Restructuring Commission, where he played a key role in restructuring of the local level governments. Mr. Poudel also has served in the government of Nepal as the secretary and also in the different capacities. So I would welcome Mr. Poudel to take the chair of this session. Similarly, Speaker Mohammad Lalbabu Raut is the first Chief Minister of Province 2, one of the 7 provinces once the Nepal has been declared the federal Nepal. He is the parliamentary member leader of Federal Socialist Forum Nepal for province number 2. He is the first Madhesi origin Nepalese Muslim leader of Nepal to become the chief minister. He was elected to the 2017 provincial assembly election from Parsa 2. Earlier, he served as a member of the Constituent Assembly, which promulgated the Constitution of Nepal in 2015. Similarly, Mr. Mohandas Manandhar is the Executive Director of Niti Foundation and also leads the works within Niti's energy infrastructure and hydropower thematic area. Mr. Manandhar also advisor to the Government of Nepal's National Inclusion Commission within the Office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet of Ministers. He was one of the designers of research program called Social Inclusion Research Fund. Mr. Manandhar also worked with the S Center for Democratic Governance and Innovation at Harvard Kennedy School of Government. He also served as the member of the Nepal's Alternative Energy Promotion Development Board. So now I would like to request chair of this session to proceed ahead. So you may allocate time as you have your own plan. The session will continue until 5:20. Thank you.
So my task is almost over. We are a little bit late, almost 15 minutes. We started 15 minutes late. So if it is possible to manage within the given time framework, we'll try. But I think we have a very, reputed personality, Chief Minister of Province number 2, and very eminent speaker, Mohandas ji. So if they took a little bit time, please bear with us. Definitely you will enjoy this session. Almost I will manage the time to complete this session within a 1 hour time. Is it okay? 1 hour. Almost 20 minutes to the Chief Minister and 10 to 15 minutes. Not more than 15 minutes. And if any time remain, I think for question answer, 20 minutes will be okay. Then almost how much time we spent? 20, 20, 40, 55. And 5 minutes for me, that will be unfair. So I'm sure that you will allow me a little bit more time than 5 minutes. uh, the topics is very interesting. Actually, delivering opportunities, reaching to devolving opportunities, reaching to people. The very fascinating, very appealing topics we have. Definitely, the new constitution devolved many things. We have a 3 level of governments. State power is allocated within these 3 levels of government. So, the representing 1 level of governments, we have actually 761 federal units. So, Lalbabu Raut represents the 1 units among the 761. The 1 level of government, that is the provincial level. And we have Mohan ji. I think he's writing in this area and he's working in many respects in this area. So, Lalbabu Raut, for your presentation, you can take almost, so please take your time. 20 minutes is allocated for you. So I'm sure you will finish before that.
It is indeed a great pleasure to address the 3rd Conference on Public Policy and Governments in South Asia with the theme on expanding public choices and market opportunity, which I think is very timely and pertinent for the entire South Asia region. Collaboration of Nepal Administrative Staff College, Niti Foundation, Nepal, Institute for Social and Environmental Transition, South Asia Institute for Advanced Studies, Institute of Public Enterprises, India, Institute of Governance and Development, Bangladesh North-South University, Bangladesh for organizing the event in Nepal, also signifies its importance for the region. South Asia is the home to almost 1/4 of the world's population, while some parts of South Asia are very cold, other parts are very hot and humid. It is a diverse region almost in terms of religious belief and ethnic orientation. The region has mixed governments practiced with some countries being liberal and social democracies, other being limited democracies. However, improvement in education, interaction with global markets and societies through liberal economic policies and political and social networking with global societies. South Asian societies have opted for more democratic practice and opportunities. Democratic space has increased in all societies of South Asia in recent years, with all governments willing to ensure freedom of expression, press freedom, good governance, and speedy delivery of public services. South Asia is moving ahead as the world's fastest growing region, with the possibility of growth rate of touching 7% in 2009 and then 7.1% in 2020 and 2021. Economists believe that South Asia needs to increase its exports to sustain its high growth so as to reap benefit of its growth potential. However, this region faces several developmental challenges, including vulnerabilities stemming from climate change and environmental degradation. With the increased use of natural disasters such as floods, landslides, and droughts, Melting of snow and glaciers in mountainous region in Nepal increase the risk of disaster in Nepal and other countries of the region. Similarly, degradation of Chure range in Nepal threatens the livelihood of Nepal's tribe population and also increases the risk of floods and desertification in border states of India. The point is that I want to highlight here is that the future of South Asian nations are linked with the success and failure of each countries of the region. If there is problem in one country of the region, that can adversely impact the socio-economic conditions of the other countries of the region. South Asian countries, therefore, need to work in tandem to achieve the goals of the development and prosperity. Public sector's services delivery should be improved. Public sector plays key role to drive development efforts and achieve growth in South Asian region. But the sad reality is that public sector is not efficient in our region to deliver service. All South Asian countries need to focus on enhancing competencies that public sector so that public sector can deliver service better. I would like to give an example of my own country. In Nepal, budgetary allocations are not enough to meet the development challenge. Yet the bureaucracy has not been able to spend all the development budgets. Data suggests that only 46% development budget is being spent and the rest of the budget are being frozen every year. Situation is not good in my province either. In fact, only 50% development budget is being spent in my province this year. This indicates lack of efficiency on part of the government bureaucracy. I think the situation is not much different in other countries of South Asia region. Therefore, a skilled and experienced human resource in the public sector are the need of our hour. People want quality service to be delivered by public sector. And for that, South Asian governments need to enhance the competencies of public sectors. Corruption is another challenge facing our region. Transparency International reports reveals that South Asian countries are badly affected by corruption. Policies to be adopted to change the situation. We should not forget that for the past 3 decades, economic growth centered on strong contributions from the private sector has been the main driver of poverty reduction around the world. FDI should be encouraged. While global FDI inflows in South Asia increased from US $11 billion in 2005 to US $50 billion in 2016. This success has, however, been quite uneven. India has been the largest recipient of FDI. In 2016, it attracted US $44 billion, being nearly 6 times of US $7.6 billion in 2005. While Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives were less successful in attracting more FDI. The performance of Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bhutan, Nepal was quite dismal. Now, South Asia region needs to do enough to change this scenario by adopting multi-pronged strategies. More FDI means more jobs and more opportunities of export. Governments of South Asia need to ensure rule-based system and transparency to attract FDI, or else they can produce enough to export their products to other regions of the world. Growth should be inclusive. There are a number of development challenges in South Asia. South Asia still has a very high incidence of poverty. Data show that growth has been uneven in the region across social groups, geographical locations, gender, etc. As a result of all this vulnerability in livelihood, opportunity remains very high in the region. It is therefore necessary for the government of this region to make necessary changes in their policies to ensure inclusive growth that take care of need of all stakeholders, especially the marginalized sections, who have thus far been out of the target of policy interventions. I am confident that this two-day discussion and interaction of public policy and governance in South Asia with the theme of expanding public choices and market opportunity will immensely benefit the region, as I would enhance our understanding of the issues and promote government of the region to make timely changes in their policy. Thank you very much.
And very nicely you did that. Now I would like to invite Mohan Manandhar as a panelist. Please take your time.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair, Honorable Minister, delegates here. My point simply will focus on mainly three areas. Let me start saying this in the first place. As Honorable Minister has pointed out some of the difficulties and constraints in South Asia, I will just like to highlight three of them. Before I go into 3 points, the idea of during this preparation of the whole conference, the whole idea of devolving opportunities, reaching people is the most difficult one. We had difficulty in actually specifying what does it mean, how the structure it happens, and what we are actually expecting from it. So probably we will be taking part of it. Some of your expectation may not be fulfilled. You can ask questions. Because we thought.
Our question is, are people or does people have that opportunity for themselves? Because each of us would want to have a good income, a good quality of life. Each of us would want to have access to a good services, including health, education, and public security. Each of us in its countries would like also to have freedom of speech, which the Chief Minister has already highlighted. Are we then had that opportunity? Do we have that access? Is a question that we are trying to ask here. If you look at the overall map of South Asia, three things I just suggested is a constraint to people being sort of being empowered or say have full access to what they deserve, or provision by all the constitution of all these countries, including Nepal, which provides citizen as sovereign in terms of their rights. So the idea of this citizens' entitlement seems to be important, but the policy makers and those decision makers probably decides to make them more empowered and have access to everything. But do we think we have? And perhaps all the studies suggest we do not. I just suggested three constraints. The first constraint is structural violence. Basically, that each of these countries, you name it from, this is basically Indian subcontinent culture, so to speak, or practices comes to it. The first issue is about whole idea of discrimination. This is a structural violence against the citizens that is based on caste, based on class, based on gender, based on religion, basically being either a majority or minority. And it's quite fascinating to see that whether we are a Hindu country or a Buddhist country or a Muslim country, each of these countries, including all of us in South Asia, does practice a discrimination in terms of more or less casteism. There are untouchable peoples who do not have either access to market, even they are touched because they are untouchable. Whatever they sell, nobody would buy it. So maybe we are trying to make it more better. So the first issue, therefore, is about the whole structural exclusion that debars, that excludes people having that opportunity to work, to make their families good, having good income, and improve their quality of life. The second constraint that we think is that operates in each of these regions is about the capacity of humans or citizens here. 1/4 of the world citizens, people are in this region, and probably half of them are so poor. As I said, 1/3 of the 1.3 billion poor people are in 40% are in South Asia. So therefore, they are poor already. But also in terms of capacity, they are weak. They do not have sufficient skills, and they do not have sufficient competencies to fight with either a public sector or somebody who is supplying services to them. They end up begging services they are entitled to. So therefore, there is a problem in terms of human capacity itself. If you look at all of our country's planning process, they are more structured in terms of sectors, but they have not thought of improving human human capacities. I do not want to say resources, because there are people there, we need to respect their rights and their living. So therefore, their capacities are probably most important for them to either demand for and to take access or opportunities in the market or in the state to excel. And that also comes from human development work. One aspect of that is education, and we know that our education system is not so effective. Therefore, there is already a problem in terms of making sure that citizens do have capacities in terms of education, skills, virtues, and other perspective to work in these complex areas, complex global phenomena where global power is, global companies is extracting more profit than probably we could afford to. Governments in each countries will at least try to make it, at least try to develop it, either through decentralization or through federal mechanisms. And if you look at it, probably we've had some improvements onto it. For example, if you look at Sri Lanka, or even if you look at Pakistan, at least we have started to have female women being elected in the local government system. And in every state is ward or a local government, which we go first. And if 50% of our women cannot go and talk about their problems, then we already have a problem in terms of sort of excluding the half of our population for their expressing what they are demanding or they are wanting or their difficulties are, grievances are. Public policy, therefore, as we understand, is to solve difficulties and grievances of people. Now, if they are not elected, their representations are not there, there will always be a difficulty in explaining their grievances in a way that people who represents them are equal or they are in the similar boat. For example, as I suggested, if women's difficulties needs to be expressed, better the women representation should be there at the decision-making point at the local government level. Fortunately, as I suggested, even Pakistan has sort of put 25% at least of their elected representative, but because of other religious and other difficulties, they were not able to implement it. But whereas in terms of India and Nepal and Bangladesh, at least we have gone far ahead. And you take India's decentralization process in Jillas and Jillas, you've seen huge number of women participation. 40% of them has been elected in local elections. 1.3 million. So you can understand their representation at the smallest unit at the local government, which is the most important door point to access the state services. Deputy mayors and deputy chairpersons of all these local governments, 35,000 plus elected leaders, 91% of the leaders are women, fortunately women. We know more than 97 are men because the candidates already for mayors and the chairperson of ward members were given by the political parties were men. But, however, given the provisions, we have a deputy mayors or a vice chairpersons at the ward, local government level, Gaon Palikas, are female. Fortunately, also, another part of it is about the representation of the untouchabilities or Dalits in Nepal. So Dalits women are represented now, more than 7,000 in 35,000, that basically means at least 20% of them are Dalit female members in ward level where their voices now can be heard. I understand very clearly this is the first time, and also like we have seen in India, it takes few cycles of elections to voice their grievances and demands, but it's not sufficient only to voice. They have to participate in the decision making meaningfully. That also means that it will take still some more years for them to then decide on allocation of resources, division of work, etc., in making sure that the quality of services has reached, the quantity of service both has reached to them. In addition to that, one of the interesting part that is coming up right now with the globalization is about market. That's what we said, market opportunities. If you look at South Asia, still 50% and more are in the villages where the markets are rudimentary and very extractive. We think they are efficient. We know they are not efficient. They are very extractive, very elitist control. The prices are controlled. It's all the ineffectiveness of inefficiency of markets can be seen in these rudimentary markets across South Asian countries. This probably will take even more time to grow, but because global competition is happening, perhaps market will be faster than the social structure that is a problem, the most important problem of our countries across South Asia. Choices in market opportunities. We will be able to discuss more on these lines so that we can provide some of our insight for government at least to improve their policies, to address some of these problems that occurs in our countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Manandhar sir. Within the given time, you elaborated many things. The structural part, cultural part, developing in Nepal, what is happening in Southeast Asia, many things we look forward. We've allocated 20 minutes for question and answer. It is not only for question, it is for answer also, 20 minutes. So now the floor is open. Please be brief to ask the question, don't elaborate. And to whom this question is directed, please indicate that.
And from Mohan sir also, like there has been so much of problem to reaching in people. So my question is basically for Lalbabu sir. When we heard about or when we discuss about the various problems that is in Asia, and when we chop down to Nepal and then again to Professor number 2, I think the number of all the problems that has been discussed exist out there more basically. So my direct question is to you is like what way or what are your strategies or actions that is directed towards reaching the people as the theme suggests? What are your strategies or actions that you have been doing or you have been thinking of doing to reaching your people so that their priorities and their needs are fulfilled out of all these problems that had been discussed here?
With your excellent presentation, I would like to have a question and comments both of you. First of all, I'd like to ask your experience to Honorable Chief Minister, that you have mentioned in your presentation that about 50% of the total capital budget has been spent this fiscal year. That's the national average percentage. And the region of not spending too much is you mentioned as a lack of capacity of civil servant. Is only it's a lack of capacity, is not spending that capital expenditure, or is there any other reasons? Because you have experience as a chief minister, you have mobilized so many civil servants in this period, because civil servants we treat as a competent person. They are selected from the competent commission, public service commission. They are trained, they know much everything. Either they are not competent in your experience. If they are not competent, what kind of competency you feel? And next is just a comment and the Mohandas sir. You have mentioned as a first issue as untouchability in the society in the South Asia. It's a problem. Yes, it is problem for the development activities and other economic activities we feel in the South Asia and in our country also. We have that kind of problem. And about 56 years past that we have made a law against untouchability. 56 years, I think it's 2020. Now we exercise that law with that 56 years, and you have also suggest to educate people more. Is only lack of education, is that untouchability exists? Is there other any more some regions? Thank you.
Devolving practice in federal context, we can see some frictions among the levels of government. So I think in the practice of devolving and then practice of self-governance in 3 layers, the friction and the poor coordination will hamper the practice the more. So I have a humble question with our Balananda sir. Is there any idea of reducing those friction among the layers of government?
Well, I would like to tell about my experience and my feeling, my own what I have just experienced till now. Actually, as I've always been just saying this one thing: if the policy maker is not honest to their people, policy can't be keep just the fruitful result, or policy can't be implemented properly. This is the problem in Nepal here. Here, as I have seen here, we want to just make our nation, country developed. Yes, certainly, every just lawmaker, every just people who want to see Nepal developed country. But why, when we talk about the development, when we see the development till now, democracy came in 2046 after the moment of 2046. Here we see 30 years period. Why not just the country, our country, get developed? What's the reason behind it? In just a forum like this, we talk. There are so many just scholars, economists, engineers, policy makers. Everyone want to make the nation just the develop. But in practice, what we see here, the policy which is made here, the policies are make policy. But when the policy, the time comes to implement the policy, or we can say that those who are in government, those who are in power, those who are on chair to implement the policy, I've always been just saying that they are not honest. Honest in the sense that there are so many constraints, there are so many limitations. I'm not saying that the bureaucrats are dishonest, incapable. They are capable. That's why they have been just appointed. They have just got the opportunity to be just officers, to be secretary. But I'm always just my indication is always to the politicians. My indication is always to the lawmakers. My indication is always those who are in power to just give the certain direction to give certain just those who are in power to just implement, to order the bureaucrats. That can't be developed. Here the question can, how can we make, how can just improve, how can just reform such type of just we can say that the weaknesses, such type of just problems. First of all, yes, policies are always made by some just scholars for just giving the good results, aiming to make just the nation better, aiming to make the place just better. But why not we just we improve our just capacity? Why not just we just implement the policies to give the result? Why not we just develop our nation till now? This is the problem here. Malegu sir just asked me a question that I don't say that bureaucrats are incapable or they are not just qualified, and only the bureaucrats are the they have to just take the responsibility. They have to take the only. I don't want to accuse them only. It is the system. Whole system is the responsible. In system, me is also one of the part. Here, as a chief minister, when you ask my own experience as a chief minister, I have to say that, first of all, I have to be honest. Developed here. Why not country? This is the two-third government. Whole just the corruption should be, if government wanted to just eliminate the corruption from the country, yes. I don't think that such a type of opportunity, such a type of just the time would come again of one party in this is very rarely come such a type of just the opportunity to the government. Why not government is just taking action against the corruption? Why corruption is, we are saying that yes, the corruption is just engulfing all the country of, this is the major just the hurdle, major obstacle in the development. We are saying corruption. But where is corruption being controlled? Why not we are thinking about controlling corruption here? Who can control the corruption? I'm also one of the part. I'm the head of province government. The practice, the very just it should be started from my own. Then I can tell others, my ministers, my bureaucrats. And this is the time to think. This is now we are in new structure. 3 tiers of government has already been formed. Why not? Yes, so far my own experience. Why not just the government is? किन युज भइराखेको छैन? किन यो हामी सबैले थाहा छ करप्सनले हामीलाई निलिरहेछ, यो मुलुकलाई समाप्त गरिरहेछ, बर्बाद गरिरहेछ सबैको। तर किन पोलिसी लेभलका व्यक्तिले पोलिसी निर्माण गर्दाखेरि उसले इमानदार बन्नुपर्छ। यहाँ जानुस् सार्वजनिक खरिद ऐन हेर्नु। यस, सार्वजनिक खरिद ऐन हेर्दाखेरिको अवस्थामा तपाईँ के पाउनुहुन्छ? त्यसैलाई टेकेर ठेकेदार पनि अमीर बनिराखेको छ, त्यसैलाई टेकेर चाहिँ ठुला ठुला ब्युरोक्रेट्स र मिनिस्टरहरू त्यसैलाई टेकेर गरिरहेछ, त्यसैलाई टेकेर चाहिँ अब यो देशको लथालिङ भताभुङ भएको छ, त्यसैले टेकेर। किन? कसलाई थाहा छैन? करप्सन कन्ट्रोलको नाममा को केही ब्युरोक्रेट्सहरू समात्दैछ, केही शाखा उपशाखाहरूमा केही सानो लेभल अधिकृतहरू कहीँ समातिन्छ, तर ठुलो माछा खोइ समातियो। भन्दाखेरि मैले के भन्न खोजेको, जोड्न चाहेको कि पोलिसी लेभलको, मैले ब्युरोक्रेट्सलाई मात्र दोष दिएको होइन। म मुख्यमन्त्री भएको नाताले यो जिम्मेवारी त मैले पनि लिनुपर्छ नि। प्रथम त मैले लिनुपर्छ, किनभने यो ब्युरोक्रेट्सलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने र उसलाई कारबाही गर्ने ठाउँमा म छु। त्यसैले पोलिसी, पब्लिक पोलिसी, जबसम्म पब्लिक पोलिसी बनाउने व्यक्ति इमानदार हुँदैन र पब्लिक पोलिसीलाई कार्यान्वयन गर्ने निकाय इमानदार बन्दैन, मुलुक समृद्धितिर जाँदैन। र जुन पब्लिक जुन अहिलेको अवस्थामा भन्नु पर्दाखेरि कसरी बन्न सक्छ? त्यसैले अहिले चाहिँ वी शुड बी अनेस्ट, वी शुड बी जस्ट रेस्पोन्सिबल, वी शुड बी द अकाउन्टेबल अफ all the deeds which we do. हामीले गर्नुपर्छ, then we can blame or just the others. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
About structure, untouchability. Basically, it's about social arrangements that is been defined by a group of people who controls state and market. So it's a social arrangement only defined by few. It's not a social truth. It's not the real truth. But because the elites have capacity, they have interest, and they have incentive to perpetuate this social structure or social arrangements, including untouchability. Therefore, there is a problem. Your question of where is a, maybe we say, well, untouchability is roots of Hindu Varnasam. Perhaps yes, but if you look at the other countries which has different religions, including Christianity in India, they do practice this social arrangements which devars, which excludes few groups by birth. So these social arrangements, as I suggested, the capacity needs to be challenged by others. The incentive needs to be there for others to sort of challenge this idea of social arrangement. Not only providing sort of a legislative or law will change, they definitely restrict some of the ideas, restrict some of the processes, but it does not change the social arrangements. And therefore, as we suggested, one area would have been participation in the decision making at the political level, and that probably helps change some of the arrangements, some of the imagination of peoples about these social arrangements. And I just
the new federal structure is going to challenge the social order, what you are talking about, the discrimination, caste, religion, and so much of division is there. So is the new structure is going to challenge it? Because this is the opportunity you have. You are going to start now. If you are not going to start now, then that means you are carrying it. You want to carry it if you don't stop now. So is there any method or is there anything which you have thought for it? Because you have 761 governments. How are you going to manage it? Are you going to carry it? So this is what I wanted to ask both of you, because a CM is sitting here and a person who is advocating here.
Thank you very much. So one of this on the two fronts, women and Dalits women are elected directly at the local government level. That's one. The second issue is about this whole idea of social groups, ethnic, other religious groups, which is governments. At this point of time, because provincial government is quite new, they have not had a service mechanism to invest, as he suggested, to spend money. They have not been able to sort of expecting the provincial government to address the social dissent and grievances groups. And I think it's already in the structure that is in place to have representatives at the parliamentary level, legislative level, as well as executive level. So therefore, and of course, the boundaries are also created by provincial government, provinces, because as I said, they need strengthening their legitimacy and capacity to work. But as far as local government is concerned, few most important aspects as you noticed.
Now, one thing I would like to here the federalism is only the platform where just the inclusion should be just the major issue, and that is the just the forum inclusion would be just addressed here. But as I told you repeatedly that we have to be honest here. That is the major problem. In Constitution, everything is there. When you read the Constitution, when you go through the Constitution, everything is there. But recently you should the public service, the very just advertisement of Public Service Commission. What you find there? Inclusion is not just the address there. Janjati, Dalit, Muslims are just raising their voice. How can it be possible there? So, right from the beginning, some people think that may not feel good what I am saying here. So, Constitution is not everything. The major important thing is that how the Constitution is being implemented, who the Constitution is being, who is just the using the power as per the Constitution. That is the important thing. And one thing I have repeatedly been saying that the major, so far the Nepal is concerned, our misfortune, I say that, those people who were against the Constitution are now in power to implement the Constitution. Okay, federally. This is the problem. That's why we are feeling problem here. How can just the untouchability and the inclusion? Major thing is that in federalism, if all Dalit, Muslim and marginalized groups are not, their issues are not being addressed, in which system? I don't think that federalism, republic, democracy, I think you can't get better just system, you can't get better system than this one. Sanghiya, Loktantrik, Ganatantra. Yes. Is there any system better than this one? No. Then why not all these issues are being addressed now? This is the problem.
This is the problem of mentality. This is the problem of your just strong willpower. Constitution is not everything. The major important thing is that who is just the implementing the Constitution. Who is implementing? Who is on chair to implement all those? Thank you.
That we spent more than 20 minutes. The 20 minutes was allocated for question and answer, not only for question. That's why I'm sorry for that. Definitely, you may have many questions which you want to be answered. The topics is very interesting. Devolving opportunities, reaching to the people. Whether we devolve the opportunities or not, I'm not sure, but definitely in this region, we are trying to devolve the governance, devolve the power, devolve the resources, devolve the responsibilities. Even from the panelists, we've heard that even in our constitution in Nepal, we devolve many things. We moved from unitary system to federal system to devolve all these things. But actually, whether we devolve opportunities or not, whether we expanded public choices or not, whether we improve our efficiency or not, whether we reach to unreached or not, whether we include the excluded one or not, this is the question. So we are seeking the answer of these questions. So actually, what we are doing and what is the problem and how can move ahead. I think this is the whole objective of this session. And keeping in the mind that, this will promote the participatory democracy. Mohan geography, it's not that much big. But we have 46,000 lawmakers in this country. Can you believe? 36,000. Yes. 761 federal units. And the Constitution gave them the governing authority. They can enact their own law. They have their own this consolidated fund. They can have their own budget. Me as a chairperson of NNRFC, I have to ask myself, what is my duty? And as academia, Mohan Dasji, you have to ask yourself, have you got the answer? We are this means for devolved governance. You can have your own tailor-made type of governance in your province number 2, whatever you need. From the perspective of macro level, from the Simba Darbar, from the central level, we can talk about the macro level data, macro level indicators like that. The poverty, the national poverty, it is 24% or 21%, 19%, whatever it is. It's for to enhance the opportunities to the people, to enhance the access to the services, to improve the quality of services, to target the outside. So actually, in terms of inclusion, this will give the very appropriate space to improve our, inclusion policy. From Dalit, marginalized communities. So this is a good start, but this is not our ends. We want to reach somewhere else. So the question posed from this discussion is that actually the way we are doing our business, are you in the right track? The Chief Minister rightly mentioned that everything is written in the Constitution and it is the best one. He confessed that. But this is only means how we are going to use this. As opinion, I think we have to discuss on that matter. Are we trying to fix the accountability rightly, properly? Are we, do you have any kind of agreement between your cabinet and yourself? In my view, no. So all the time we are talking about the system, we are talking about the authority, we are talking about the devolution, but we are less talking about fixing the accountability, asking the questions, and making them accountable. So I think this is thanks a lot all the participants for your patience. Oh, we took 20 or 25 minutes more than the allocated time. I would like to salute your patience, and with this I would like to conclude this session. The session is over. Thank you so much. Thank you.